In 2023, a McAfee report had unearthed that more than 60% of Indians were planning to take the help of ChatGPT to write love letters on Valentine's Day. Cross your heart and hope to die if you were one of them, or if you were given a chance, would you want to be one of them? Moreover, if you were the ones on the receiving end, would you really admire a love letter coming from a heartless machine? Imagine if Rachel had to use Gen AI to write 18 pages to Ross. How many prompts would she have to give to pass her message correctly? I don't know about them, but if I were Rachel, I would have definitely gone on a break with ChatGPT. Not just letters, creating images, poetry, designing, and even creating a plot of the movie. Gen AI is capable of doing anything. But the question remains, does our creativity get rusted when we reach out to seek Gen AI's help? Or can we use Gen AI to expand our creative thinking? One way to answer is for us to form teams and then have a debate until we arrive at a decision. But the quicker and easier way would be to let our speakers, Monica Ramesh and Alan Verghese, do the honors and help us discover answer to this question: does AI help or limit our creative expression? But let me introduce our two speakers. First, Monica is a lead consultant, business analyst. She has over 12 years of experience with around 10 years of experience in Thoughtworks. She specializes in agile practices and problem solving for customer in healthcare, retail, marketing, publishing, and logistics. Also heavy machinery industry domains. She has also worked on introducing LLM based recommendations. Coming to Alan, she is a lead consultant, business analyst. She is in her 14 years of career stint, which includes 3 years with ThoughtWorks. She has played the roles like developer, BA, and product manager. She specializes in agile practices, building data teams in finance, data, automotive domains, and holds experience in data governance and quality for a digital product. I am eagerly waiting for them to share their perspectives on this topic titled Michelangelo in the Time of AI. Monica and Alan, the stage is all yours. The virtual stage is all yours.
So
Thanks a lot for that introduction, Nidhi. Yeah, go on, Alan.
no, I just wanted to thank her as well. That was a really good intro.
Yeah. And those 18 pages, I think whether written by Rachel or by AI, Ross would have lost it either ways. So, good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's talk on creativity and AI. We're super excited to explore this topic because it sits like at the crossroads of human and artificial intelligence, a subject that's becoming increasingly relevant these days, right? Given that AI has pretty much touched all or most of the areas in our life. Before we dive in, I think already Nidhi's done a great job of introducing
Monica,
ourselves. So
I'll just interrupt you. I'm sorry. Can you be a little louder?
um,
Just a bit
is
more.
is this better? Hello?
This is better. But thank you.
Okay. So Nidhi did a great job of introducing us. So I'm Alan, I'm here, I'm Monica, I'm here with Alan. They're both BAs at ThoughtWorks. But today we are going to step into a slightly different space for us and talk about creativity. Something that has traditionally been associated with humanity and seen as uniquely human, but how this could be now changing in the age of AI. So this is what we are going to be talking about today. Cool. So we wanted to start with looking at what human creativity means in the first place. So creativity comes in many forms and it can engage many different senses, right? It's not just limited to, so a lot of times when we think of creativity and art, we think about a painting or we think about the music that we listen to, but it's a lot more than that. It's in the things that we read, visual arts, things that we eat, food and recipes, the stories that we hear, architecture, the clothes we wear, fashion, the memes that we read on a daily basis, everything that you see on Insta is creative. There's creativity pretty much everywhere. It's also there in like how we approach simple everyday problems. The lies that we tell are also creative. So you can't really limit creativity to just certain art forms. It's pretty much something that humans display anywhere and everywhere as part of their lives. So we'll come to what drives human creativity, right? So at its core, I feel creativity is a very powerful mix of emotions and intelligence. So emotions play a critical role in creative expression. So for many artists, emotions, it is the driving force and the inspiration to create. It's what connects them to their work and to those who experience it. So let's say an artist is feeling joy, sorrow, anger, all of that reflects in the work that they do. The other side of it, so one side is emotional, the other thing that drives creativity would be the intellectual aspect of it, right? So things like your imagination, the skill and the discipline that's required to actually come up with that piece of with any piece of art. It's about the structure and the frameworks that an artist could follow to express their ideas. So speaking about structures and frameworks, we feel that when an artist approaches or the creative process of an artist, we could broadly categorize it into three types. Um, One would be combinational creativity. So this is where artists would combine existing ideas in new ways, where they blend styles, mediums, or concepts, things that they've already seen, but now they're trying to sort of mix and match to create something fresh. So think of how maybe musicians would mix different genres to come up with something new. The recipes that we do in our kitchen, not all of them are original, right? We keep mixing things. Oh, I like how this tastes or how, that particular ingredient, just mix it and create something new. How painters could combine different artistic techniques. So all of this would kind of talk about how you can use combinations of existing art and come up with something new. Another would be exploratory. So this is where you are working within an established field or an established framework, but you're just pushing the boundaries a little bit more and trying to explore with something new. And the third would be transformational creativity. So this is where groundbreaking changes happen, where something absolutely new is created, completely original. So a good example of this would be in recent times, right? Digital art. There's a lot of debate about it, but you can't ignore the fact that it is something that is groundbreaking and it has transformed the visual medium to a great extent. So I know that when we describe human creativity this way and talk about the process in these three uh, categories, it sounds like we are oversimplifying it a lot, but we only want to emphasize these primary approaches. But we do understand that actual journey of creativity is far more complex and nuanced and involves like a mix of ideas and experiences, context. So it's a lot more complex than what we've talked about here. But I think this gives a good understanding into the process, just a small introduction to the process. Um, Cool. Moving on to the next slide. So again, the next thing that we want to talk about is any piece of art or any creative expression has two sides to it. One would be the artist who's actually creating it, and the other one is the folks who are consuming it. So these are like two sides of the same coin kind of a situation, right? So what does creativity mean to the artist? We'll take some time and look at that. So, for an artist, oftentimes creativity is a very personal thing, right? It's deeply personal. It's not just about the final artifact of producing art, it's about the satisfaction that they derive from transforming an idea into something more tangible. So, the process of creation, exploring, experimenting with things, the act of making, learning, unlearning, all of that, that whole journey for them is as meaningful as the final product. Creativity, so this is about the journey and the final artifact that they create, but out of this art there's a lot more that an artist stands to gain. So creativity, for instance, offers opportunities for recognition, fame, popularity. So artists can connect with an audience, and a lot of artists thrive and find joy in knowing that their work has touched somebody, it has inspired somebody, it has evoked some thoughts in people who are probably reading or listening to their work. So recognition is a very important outcome of creativity an artist gets. For many, creativity is also tied to financial freedom and financial success. So while passion is one part of it and drives their work, uh, there is the everyday practicalities of making a living, right? So a lot of artists are also looking at making money through the work that they do. And artists can also often seek to leave a legacy. So through art, all of us are probably going to live just 60, 70 years. But the art that we create, it kind of transcends time and it's going to leave an impact on generations to come. So this is also something that really drives an artist towards the work that they do. So you can see that it's not just about the end artifact. There is so much more to the art that we create. Now, this is about the artist coming to people who are consuming any piece of art, music, paintings, anything. So it's usually a personal investment. It could be an emotional investment, it could be a financial investment. Oftentimes, art also serves as a symbol of status or prestige in society. If you can say that, oh, I have a probably Van Gogh hanging in my living room, that kind of talks a lot about um, your economic status, probably. So that's something that drives a lot of people to consume art. Um, Engaging with art allows individuals to fit in with certain cultural trends, watching movies, a lot of the current art forms that we have. I think it talks to this engaging. It allows people to fit in, it allows people to express their identities. People often associate artwork or art pieces with sentimental value. They'll tie it to personal experiences, personal memories. Um, so I'm sure we all have, let's say, a book that we read in our childhood that it's very close to our heart even today. So all of this speaks to about how, although we haven't created that piece of art, we are consuming it, yet it has such a deep impact on our lives. And of course, when at an individual level, when it can mean so much to a person, collectively, when we come together as society, the impact just multiplies, right? So art can be educational in nature. It can help create understanding, awareness of a lot of different perspectives. Art can often act as a vehicle for dissent. It can sort of challenge the norms. It can advocate change. There's so much that art can do, right? It fosters a sense of community, creates shared experiences that can help people connect, and promote collective identities. I have a few examples over here. Right, I think a lot of us would already be familiar with these examples. Winnie the Pooh, for instance, maybe for us, folks of this generation, it's just a nice cartoon that we probably grew up watching. But the times when it was created during the Great Depression. This character brought a lot of joy and comfort to readers in difficult times, sort of highlighting the artist's ability to inspire hope in an entire group of people. Uh, Archaeological artifacts, right? These were again created like thousands of years ago, but it's only because we are finding them now. These artifacts are like pottery and sculptures and a lot of statues, coins, whatever that we find these days, right? Art that was created so many thousands of years ago. Today kind of teaches it kind of acts as a window to that period of time. It teaches us about the people of that time, the civilization, the economy, their practices, their religious practices. There's so much that this tells us. There's a lot of story that is associated with art. Harry Potter, I think me and Alan, both of us are Potterheads, so we had to kind of squeeze it in. Alan is an ex-Potterhead. I still am. So, yeah, so we grew up with Harry Potter. It kind of changed the landscape of children's literature. I think also when Harry Potter came was also the time when television made an entrance into most people's living room. So all the kids were, going screen time and all of that, but it kind of pulled people back into the habit of reading. That was the power of, somebody's imagination. The Diary of Anne Frank, although when it was written, pr- uh, it was just a girl talking about her experiences living through a really bad time in history. But when we look at it now, the value that it has, it's almost like it's a crucial historical document, right? It kind of humanizes the statistics of the Holocaust. It kind of offers a personal narrative that tells us more about history. It helps us understand history better of what happened during those times. Another example that I want to talk about, if anyone's watched The Devil Wears Prada, there is a line where Meryl Streep talks about how the color cerulean blue, it represents 1,000 jobs and millions of dollars. So that is the impact that somebody's idea or somebody's art has on society. It's pretty huge. Right, so moving on. We've kind of looked at how human art and human creativity has helped the human society kind of evolve over so many years, right? And the meaning that it holds for each one of us. Now we have a new player over here. We have artificial intelligence, which is kind of doing what we have been doing over the last many years. So AI has kind of revolutionized the art world by introducing new methods of creation that blend like technology and creativity. It's using algorithms, it's using machine learning. We're not going to go into the tech details of this, of course, but AI basically analyzes like really huge data sets of existing artwork, learning patterns, styles, and techniques from like famous artists. And this allows AI to generate unique pieces of art that kind of mimic or at least reinterpret various artistic styles, right? So, for instance, the different AI systems that we have today, Deep Art, DALI, and many more, they kind of use neural networks to transform pictures and photographs that we've uploaded into the internet into paintings or create like entirely new images based on text descriptions. So these technologies are now producing art in a matter of seconds. And that sort of challenges the traditional notions of creativity, the traditional notions of skill and craftsmanship. Moreover, AI can collaborate with human artists, offering like suggestions, generating ideas that inspire new work. Tapas previously spoke about, right? It's a great pair to work with. So this partnership kind of opens up exciting possibilities, but also prompts questions about authorship, originality, ethics, intellectual property rights. There's a whole debate going on that. So I'll now hand it over to Alan. She'll continue to talk about the potential roles that AI could play in the world of art and the impact that it could have.
All right, thanks. Thank you, Monica. Um, Now to talk about where exactly the AI and human meets, right? Now, when it comes to AI and creativity, not everyone sees eye to eye, right? That could be purists. So that they are on one side of the spectrum where they say that we find joy in the traditional aspect of it, the artistic process itself, and not the final outcome. So they'll be a little hesitant to embrace AI, because they look at it as a threat and they view it as a departure from the authenticity that human creativity brings, the raw human talent. On the other end, we have the pragmatists who prioritize the.
Louder. Sorry.
Okay.
Slightly more louder. Yeah.
Okay, let me come a little closer. Is that okay? Is that better?
Yeah, it's
Maybe
better
I.
than before.
Yeah, okay. Now, I was talking about the other end of the spectrum where we have the pragmatists and they prioritize the outcome over the process itself. And they view AI as simply a tool, right? They just want to enhance and expedite their work. But you really see it's not as black and white as that. Okay, these are just two extremes that we are talking about. But every individual creator, they tend to find their own sweet spot of that balance within this whole spectrum. So even on the consumer side, if you look at it, we have a spectrum of sorts. So there might be one consumer for whom a reproduction of the Michelangelo painting might be brilliant. Okay, they get excited at the thought of it, at the sight of it. But there might be others who prefer the authenticity of the original one itself. Again, if you look at AI-inspired music, some find it very enjoyable. But some listeners, they crave the ingenuity and complexity of the original compositions itself. And ultimately, why we are saying this is because the diversity in these perspectives itself, right, and enriches all the dialogue that we are having around AI. even this dialogue that we are having, this discussion that we are having, um, and invites us to explore where we fit as humans within this evolving landscape. And moving on to the next slide. So now that brings us to our next really big question, right? Where do we actually fit in as humans, right? It was a little more clearer before, and now our roles and creators as artists have evolved significantly. So previously, if you look at it, the voice of an individual shaped the artistic expression. So one subjective perspective was shining through. Now with AI, we find ourselves conducting like an anonymous choir, right? So we have multitude of voices coming in, and before we were singing alone, and now we are just doing the conducting. So now we are playing the role of a conductor, we play the role of an evaluator, the decision maker, and we also heard in the previous session where Tapas said the word navigator, right? So these are all the points that we are strong in, and we play better than what an AI can do. um, and this shift, right, of a role changing from a singer singing alone to being a conductor who is conducting a choir, brings us back to the dimensions that Monica was talking initially. If you remember, there were three dimensions of creativity. So there's exploration, combination, and transformation. So while AI has made strides in exploring ideas, right, and they are very good at combining them also, but the aspect of the transformation that still remains a significant challenge, even till today. So just to give two examples, so you will see these digital news that comes in. So these AI generated news articles that come on our phones, and that is based on a given information that it is printed, right? But it often lacks that contextual understanding that is necessary to convey the broader implication of the events. So if you look at it, it will be factually correct, all the data will be there, grammatically perfect, all the full stops in place, but what it lacks will be like the depth and insight that readers might expect. Similarly, even we talked about music earlier, art and music, right? Some of them love it. Okay, it's enjoyable, but where we fall short is that emotional depth and unpredictability. So AI struggles to capture that nuanced feelings that only a human can bring in, that human artists infuse into their work. And this can lead to creations, a lot of creations, right? AI creations, but it fails to resonate with the viewers or listeners. And again, not all, but mostly what we have seen has been like that. Moving on to the final part. Now, having said all this, right, there is absolutely no doubt that the future of human AI collaboration is boundless. Everybody knows that. The possibilities are limitless. And just to take a very familiar example, just to draw parallels, the game of chess, right? Years ago, computers became incredibly good at chess. Okay, and they reached a point where even grandmasters found it impossible to beat them. But did we stop playing? No. Instead, what we did is we embraced the challenge, we pushed our boundaries further than ever before. And as a result, humans now compete against each other at even a higher level. And so, in the same way, humans and AI will continue to push each other's boundaries in the creative world. This partnership opens up exciting avenues for creativity. And who knows, perhaps in this new era of collaboration, one of us could be the next Michelangelo. Or for Monica, maybe J.K. Rowling. All right. Thank you. Thanks, everybody, for listening.
Thank you so much, Monica and Alan. It was such an insightful presentation. And in reference to the symbolism of the title of your talk, right? Michelangelo once said that every block of stone has a statue inside it. And in today's world, AI is literally helping us chisel out new masterpieces. So thank you so much. We truly appreciate your unique insights.